Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and of course there are those social media links, whichever one works for you. Now today I'm going to be looking at a couple of products that are actually in my Etsy store. Currently I only do digital downloads in Ceri the Crafter Etsy store, however you never know in the future, there may be something different. So let's move all this out of the way because I want to quickly get on with what I want to show you. Now, this is going to be a bit of a promo for some of the digitals in my shop and also a bit of a craft along with me and a few other tricks along the way. So this is what we're up to. So first of all, I just wanted to show you a couple of the digital background kits. So this is my Ooh La La kit number 2. Now as you can see, there's 5 pages in this and these are basically tag backgrounds. And the tag backgrounds are exactly what they say. Now you will see there's the odd banner on one or two and there's also a journaling card on this one as well. I tried to mix them up a bit. The Ooh La La kit was one of the first ones I started putting banners and strips and journaling cards into, so that was Ooh La La 2. We're not going to be using that one today, but I just wanted to show you because I thought let's try and stay within the theme that's a bit more lacy, should we say. Let's take that sticker off that one. Okay, this is Collage Tag Backgrounds kit number 7. Now this one I did obviously for the vintage feel, as you'll see, but also I did this for those who don't have a sewing machine, so I thought, right, I'll sew around them so when you print them out they're already sewn out for you. Okay, there you go. There's 5, every one of my digital kits has 5 pages, if I can pull them apart. There you go. And this is what I normally do as far as the format goes. I do various different sizes of tags with them. I try to stay within the theme, like this one was coffee dyed lace and some delicate paper. Let's put that one to one side and let's take a look at the one we're actually working on today. So this is Collage Tag Background kit number 3. Now I chose this one, or made this one, because it's really lacy and everyone loves this. So I thought, right, let's show you something how to finish them off. So these are the 5 pages that come within it. As you can see, it's all real lace that I've actually put on there and then scanned them all in. So all you've got to do is print them out. I use presentation card purely because it gives a nicer result. It also gives a bit more rigidity to them. Let's move those to one side then. So, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how I use them and then take you through maybe to do the odd little bit of decorating. So, so when I print them out, I mean, this is on presentation paper, so it's not that hefty. The reason I like the background tags is because I don't have all of this bulk in my journal to start with. However, when I print them out, I've got a white back to them. So you could just print this through your printer and put another digital on the back. Lots of people will cut the tags out and then actually put coffee dye paper on the back, but I wanted to show you what I do with them. So I've been through my stash of scraps, hint stash of scraps, and I pulled out anything that I thought that could be written on or could be used for the back of a journal card. Like there's some avocado dye paper, there's some coffee dye paper. These are just from a 6x6 pad. All of them are quite easily written upon, and it's a great way of using up those 6x6 pads, because what do? We buy them all and then we use 1 or 2 sheets and we put them in the cupboard, and the next time we see them we buy them again because they're a good price. So just know that I use them a lot. Get myself a glue book or some glue pages. I use Pritt Stick to glue my stuff on. I know people like Gayle Agostinelli actually uses Yoo-Hoo. There's several different brands out there. You don't even have to use a glue stick. You can use whatever glue you use. This just happens to be the one that my local sells, and it's quite inexpensive. So that's why I use this one. Okay, so first thing. I will normally choose, I usually choose a 6x6 if I'm starting off collage. Now I use a tear ruler. This is a tear ruler by We Are Memory Keepers, I believe it is. Comes in a set of 3. Don't think I've ever used these 2 in my life. This is the one I use all of the time with the tear edge down. And the first thing I do is I go into my 6x6 and I will just rip it into 4 pieces. I don't want them to be equal pieces. I want them to be a little bit random And I do that because I like the corners. I always start my collage in the corners. You'll find quite a few people do that. It's something I must have seen someone else do at some point because that's how I start mine. As far as what I'm doing today, it's not new. It's not something that's just been invented by me. I've seen lots of people do collage sheets. I know that Gayle Agostinelli does lots of her ephemera by starting off with a collage sheet like this. I will actually try and put links in the description box. And the description box, by the way, is in that corner. There's a little grey tick. If you tap on that, that will open up all the links. I'll try and put a link in there, maybe to one of Gayle's Scrappy Saturdays. Who else did I watch? I do know that I saw Roxy Creations the other day was doing something very similar to this in doing collage work for the backs of tags and stuff. It's a quick mass make way of working and I love it. So it just makes life so much easier. Now, if I have any words of advice, I would say don't go for too small pieces of paper for the backing to write on, purely because it's going to be cut up. So if you've got really small pieces, you have lots of little small pieces all over the place. So let me just move that to one side again. Now what I tend to do is, say I've got this. Now this is part of another digital of mine. I like to tear them into almost squares or rectangles. I don't mind if there's one edge that's not torn, because normally that's the sort of edge I would use there, and I might use that in a moment. If I'm going to tear up a sheet of paper, I normally go along and I'll tear the entire sheet up. Now, I'm OCD, which can cause me a few problems because I try to keep everything symmetrical and even. This method for me works because it means I have a whole pile of bits of paper. Let's get rid of these two little bits. And as you can see by this pile, I end up with lots of squares and rectangles, so I can just quickly dip into them, pull out what I need, and then stick it down. And I find working at speed for me helps me be a little more random. So I'm just going to use that bit that we had earlier on. I'm just going to put Pritt stick on. Hopefully you know what I'm doing over here, guys. I'm just using a glue stick on the pieces of paper to stick down. I thought it was more important for you to actually see the page as it developed rather than me gluing. So let's stick that one down there. Now, I also like to use an old credit card or store card to smooth down my card or paper. And the reason I do that is purely because I found that if I get any little lumps of glue from the glue stick under my card, that will actually smooth it all out for me. So there you go. Now what I'm going to do is, we do have 5 sheets in this kit, but I'm not obviously going to do all 5 for you here, purely because that'd be really boring for you to watch. So I've already done one, so I just wanted to do one so you can see what the whole process was like. And then we'll move on from there. So let's stick that one there, I think. There you go. Now, what I tend to do also, sorry, I keep saying the word tend all the time, don't I? What I usually do a lot of is, if I'm doing a whole set of tags, I will usually use the same group of colours, because then if I'm using them in the same journal, it'll help create a theme. Let's stick that one across there. That's nice there. Don't think you just have to have plain papers for backgrounds. I like to use the odd patterned one. Just be aware that don't go too dark with your colours. Purely because if you go too dark, what you'll find is people will have to use something like a white pen to write with, and that's not always a popular choice. Let's have another look. See, got some coffee dyed over here. And this is what I like. And any bits that I don't use today will just actually get put straight into my scrap box and they'll be ready for the next time. This is a great way to use up all of those little bits and pieces that you've got hanging around and you're like, oh, I need to use that up. What do I use it on? This is a great way to do it. As I said, Gayle, as you'll see in her video, will make up sheets like this nothing on the other side, just a sheet like this, and then she'll come in and cut them into tags, belly bands, tuck spots, anything she wants. It's a really handy way of using up stuff, utilising what you've already got, because we're all the same. We tend to have a box full of scraps, but do we ever go to it? No, what we do is we reach for stuff we've already just bought and hasn't been used yet. So now, if there's straight edges, all I tend to do is I tend to tear down. Now I tear down because the white bits on the bit I've torn off, it's not on the bit I'm going to stick down. So let's just rip that along there a little bit. There you go. Now, if there's any questions about what am I doing with the pages, I've got a glue stuck to them. That being the book pages I'm using here to glue upon. You'll probably be seeing a video from me in the future where I show you how I utilise those, because as a good crafter, we don't tend to waste stuff. Oh, there's a piece of another one of my digitals there. Let's use that. We like to recycle all the way if we can, and that's one of the main reasons I think I started doing junk journaling and crafting, is because I like the fact that I was using stuff that would otherwise be in landfill or in the recycle bin. I do junk journaling, and there are people out there who do get a little offended because they're like, you're cutting a book up, you're destroying a book. Well, you know, guys, that book has probably been sat in the charity store or the Goodwill store for ages, and if I didn't rescue it and make something from it, it would end up in landfill or it will end up in shredding anyway. I wouldn't actually use a brand new book for anything. I would always go to a recycle store, or I would see what's out there to use first, purely because I just like the fact that I am recycling in a little way. Usually that book that would have gone to landfill ends up in a journal or as part of a journal or a recycled book, and it ends up as a new treasure. And that new treasure's probably got a much longer life than the book would have had if I hadn't rescued it in the first place. So please don't be offended if you see crafters using book pages and stuff. We are, in our own way, recycling. We are helping reduce the waste that goes into landfill. We are not using new, so we're actually using something that I think is a great way of helping out the planet. And goodness knows, I think nowadays the planet needs a heck of a lot of helping. Let's see. Okay, I've got some of this lined paper here. It was just splashed with coffee. It's from a children's exercise book. I'm not worrying which direction the lines are going in, because whoever writes on these tags could write vertically, they could write horizontally, they may write around in circles. So I let the decision of how someone writes on their tag up to them. So let's put my lid back on my glue a second, because I don't want that getting firmed up and gungy on me. Put that in my pile of recycle, that to one side. So as you can see, that's what my eventual background looks like. Now, I like this method because when I actually cut all of these out, it's a huge surprise as to what I've got on the other side. So let's have a quick look at the other ones that I did, just so you can see I did vary things slightly. So that was the one we've just done. That was another one. And another one. I used a bit of ledger paper in there. As you can see, I've left bits of patterned elements in here as well. I don't care which way the stripes go, it doesn't bother me. I've used bigger pieces in here because it doesn't really matter. That's part of an old digital. All of these things there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one to pieces now. Let's just choose that one. So I'm just going to cut one so you've got a rough idea how the tags are. Then I'm going to stop for a few minutes and cut them all out, so then you can see how I do the next part of the journey. Now, when I created these, I did create them trying to line them up. So if you're someone who's got a trimmer or a guillotine, you will probably find that with a little bit of lining stuff, you shouldn't have to cut every individual line. You should be able to just cut around the edges. Yeah. Now, there is a little bit of waste in this method, obviously, because all of the white bits are going to be collaged. However, I found that if I cut out the tabs, and sorry, not the tabs, What are these things called? Completely gone from my mind. It is tags. You can see it's one of those days, guys, the brain is not functioning. If I cut all the tags out and then collage them, the thing would be is I would spend so much more time collaging than if I did just doing the whole thing in one go. So let's have a little look at the back of these two. So there you go. How pretty are those two? Completely serviceable. They could be written on, and what it's done is it's added an extra layer of interest into this. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to cut all of them out, then we're going to come back and actually see what they all look like from behind, and then I'm going to take them further and maybe put a few quick embellishments on a few of them, just to show how I can bring something like a nice background into something that's a little more usable, a little more dimensional.